between the two clubs taking the stage next. As always, a big thank you to Semra, making sure we're ticking along and staying out of trouble as per usual. But for now, it is Roma and Bayern's time to take the stage. And this is one that you picked out, Wes, as the match of the day, because these two are in, well, after the results so far today, a little bit of a perilous position in the league.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't have, been able to predict what results we have seen so far today, but it kind of now adds to this fixture even more. AS Roma, as we've said before, they're happy to just tick along. They're happy to be the underdog. They're happy to be a team that nobody's really talking about. But the reality is that these guys are three very canny operators within eFootball, and we have seen that over results so far. Of course, Bayern Munich, on the other hand, we have seen perennially be there or thereabouts in terms of eFootball Championship Pro, but they came off a very disappointing performance against Barcelona in Matchday 2, and as a result, now find themselves needing to kind of almost kickstart the engine again.
Well, the man in charge of the engine room is going to be Jose, of course, a invaluable player for this Bayern München side. Very, very strong in 1v1s, and let me tell you, this first game, as we've now finally been revealed to us who is going to be taking the chairs and the controllers for game one, Irma of AS Roma and Jose of Bayern München. And I know we're splitting hairs between the caliber of the players on each club, but I would argue this is my dream game number one. If there was going to be two players I'd like to see go up against each other, it's these two.
Yeah, absolutely. But that speaks to the level that Irma has developed over time. We've seen how good Irma has been in previous competitions. We've seen how good he has been in previous seasons of eFootball Championship Pro. But he's now got to a level of expectation, and that's not necessarily something I think he'll be all that comfortable with. I think in reality, he wants nobody talking about him because then everybody just sleeps on him. The difference is that when you have the likes of myself and yourself on the panel here, we have seen it. We have seen that progression entirely, and we know how good he can be. And of course, on the flip side of it, you look at the almost a talismanic figure now for Bayern Munich in Jose. That's what sets this up to be so delicate. And of course, this being game one, of course, this really sets the tone for this entire matchup.
Of course, you can keep up to date with the latest news across all of the eFootball socials, as well as the eFootball Pro Championship Pro website. You can see it there on your screen. And it's funny you mention Irma, because he will always be a player that I think we have in our hearts in terms of a sentimental value. We don't have favourites as commentators.
No, absolutely not.
Let's dispel that theory right
absolutely.
now. However, as you said, we've been following that journey from Euro 2020, where, to me at least, he was a...
And certainly, you only have to flash back to Matchday 2. That incredible finish with Dybala, where it was basically mesmeric. It was passing, it was moving, it got to Dybala, it took one pirouette, it took three defenders out of the game, and he found the back of the net against O'Neill. That's essentially what we're kind of looking at here, is can he replicate that now? Can he keep going? Can he find ways to surprise people? And that's going to be where we're looking at it. Of course, as we can see from the audience question in terms of what's the most important thing from a goalkeeper, reflex is certainly one of those things. And we talk about manual goalkeeping, that's where reflexes really come into their own.
It seems to be the general consensus from you all at home, so please keep your interactions coming. We've spoken about Irma for AS Roma. Now to look on the other side of the stage, you have Jose, a player that almost needs no introduction because of how strong of a player he is. We see it time and time again, him pulling Bayern München through with such incredible results. It's going to be a big day for him, I feel.
Yeah, and he's going to need to perform. And he's up against, I would say, arguably the strongest member of that Roma roster. So you're going, as the old adage goes, steel sharpens steel. That's what we're looking at here. It's going to be two very, very good eFootball players up against one another, representing their clubs.
This one and two.
You did it perfect, bro. I told you, you're making my life very easy.
You just heard Irma there chatting to the referee, just making sure he had the kit selection correct. Of course, this is all agreed before the match day by the referees. We're getting the go-ahead, you can hear as well there from our men in red on the stage, not Bayern München, our referees, of course. We always give a lot of love to them because they make our jobs easier.
They certainly do. They certainly do, and they keep everything square, everything level. They keep everything within the rules, and they make sure that kind of sporting integrity is kept to the highest level.
That's what we want here at the eFootball Championship Pro. Match day 3, match number 3 is now underway, and with kickoff we have passed the halfway point of the match day. It is Roma taking on FC Bayern München. It is Bayern from right to left, being used by Jose, of course, and he's coming forward here with Kingsley Coman, a real chance to open the scoring early! Beautiful patience, and that is what Jose brings. A dream start for the Bavarians to make it 1-0.
Got baited, did Irma there. He got baited. He went manual goalkeeping. There was a couple of shimmies and shakes, and Kingsley Coman finds his way in. And we talk about mobility within players. Bayern Munich have some incredibly mobile forwards that you've got to be careful of. One is Kingsley Coman, the other Sadio Mane, and the third one, if you do see him, is Leroy Sané. All very potent weapons. As you'll see there, Mane with quick feet finds the through ball to Coman, and Coman gives him a look there, one shake, another touch, takes the extra touch and wide, and then finds control finish.
Such a psychological game is a one-on-one, because the longer you take, the more the other person, the goalkeeper, has to decide, okay, well, is he going left, right, or is he going to pass this? I'm not too sure. So the veteran Jose showing his experience there, his only 3rd goal of the season. It's been a bit of a slow starter so far, but a great fast start to our game 1 here. Irma with the strike with Abraham will earn himself a corner in retaliation. And of course, now we are past the halfway point in the match day. A reminder, if you're able to tune in to the match streaming program from the eFootball game clients, you can win yourself 500 eFootball points just by tuning in. So if you're able to do that, we strongly recommend you do.
Not to mention the other one to keep your eye on is the victory campaign. As if all your favourite teams will follow. And if they can pick up victories in each game, merchandise giveaways on their official channel, so keep across all of them to see what is being given away.
Jose on the offensive again, Serge Gnabry. Oh, he cuts inside really well, beats his man, double touch, and the strike! Oh yes! Beautiful from Jose. Irma looks absolutely shell-shocked out there, because there's nothing you can do against that. 2-0.
It's elite-level gameplay from elite-level players. Takes a dummy, just takes a double touch at the right time, finds a controlled strike again. We talk about those, as you said already, those kind of shots where you were slightly younger, you used to see them from particular angles. We'll get a great angle of it here. See, just puts the stop on, puts the brakes, lets the defender go past him, then gets the double touch, then finds and almost uses Smalling's foot placement of going past him as a little bit of a shield.
There's the reaction I was talking about. What can I do? Fair play to Jose.
Roma had said it was going to be a difficult game against Bayern because of the physicality involved with these players up against Roma. They're going to have to find something special here to get back into this one.
Yeah, 15 in-game minutes gone, already trailing 2-0. Defensive work from Jose, good so far. The offense is pretty darn good too. Musiala on the attack, and well, you've got Serge Gnabry waiting. Musiala! The defender is there first, and this one will be a Bayern corner. Mane the target at the far post. Musiala recovers. Upamecano is still up from the corner as well. Coleman beats the challenger Mancini as well. Sane was almost contributing his efforts, but Jose's looking really strong here today.
Yeah, it's that look in the eyes of Jose when he's focusing on what he's trying to do, and when he's not kind of blindsided by emotion and by anything else going on around him. Instead, he will find his top level, and he'll certainly put it to good use.
In-game minutes gone, and it's Roma and Roma who find themselves in a very difficult position indeed. Serge Gnabry can't keep the ball, and now a real chance for Roma to show what he's capable of. Plenty of Roma runners here. One of them's Dybala. Shot blocked though. Audience support split down the middle. Good build up from Roma. Dybala, lovely one-touch passing through to Abraham, who slides and cannot get there in time. Signs of frustration perhaps from Roma. That's a lovely ball though. Abraham! There's one back. 2-1 now.
I think there was a delayed celebration there from everybody. They were wanting to see whether there was a flag there or not. It's brilliant play. I think it would have been a second or a microsecond too late or later. That would have been an offside call, but it's a wonderful find. Great ball for Dybala. They get flicks it across, and Abraham's got nobody with him.
Just stays onside. And that halves the deficit. 2-1 now here in the first half. We've seen plenty of goals already today on Matchday 3. Roma's 5th of the season sees us have a real game on our hands here. It's always difficult when you see a player go 2-0 down so early on. You might just think, oh, okay, this could see them run away with it, but Roma has got the fight in him, and he's bringing it to Jose here.
He knows he's in a battle as well. As I said, match day 2. You know, one of the things you don't want to see with eFootball is but when he's got that little smile on his face, it's normally a sign of like worry. It's rare that you see him so wound up though.
Kingsley Coman here for Jose. Double touch inside. Oh, it's almost a mirror of the second goal. Still alive here. Musiala. Coman to Gnabry, but just a little bit too fancy. 2 minutes added on here at the end of the first half. Kingsley Coman to Musiala, almost a 1-2 successful. Almost a mistake by Roma. Surely this will be the last action here in the first half. The referee agrees with me, and in the first interval we'll see Bayern go in with a slender lead.
I respect, but Konami respect me, all teams same. Okay. After I didn't call it Konami. Respect us. I respect you.
Maybe a word there, maybe about the slam off the table there.
Yeah, we definitely know Omar's an emotional player. We see plenty of emotions throughout the season in this type of competition. Of course, that's one of the jobs of the referees, not only to make sure the rules are upheld, but also player conduct.
Yeah, absolutely.
Roma, of course, now well aware of that. Second half underway. Hearing in game number 1, we did see a 2-0 lead by Bayern, and Gnabry is looking to go all the way, and I think you could be mistaken for thinking that was a penalty shout there, but the referee not having any of that. Long balls are the order of the day here for Roma. Abraham able to knock it down. Dybala with the strike in anger. Not one but two. Coleman trying to dance inside. He might just be able to retrieve this here as well on the far side.
Took very well there.
Mane and Musiala waiting, but good defensive work by Roma.
You can just see kind of cogs turning for both players here. They know that this next goal, whichever way it comes, is going to be vitally important.
Lovely inside from Jose. Gnabry waiting here. Defensively, right place, right time. Now, Gini Wijnaldum. To the feet of Abraham. Pellegrini was making the run, and the groan from Roma tells you that he thought that one was on. Past the hour mark now. This one's on a knife edge, Wes.
It really is, both from a player perspective and from a fan perspective. Everybody is on the edge of their seats here.
Of course, we haven't even noticed, or noted, I should say, so far. Roma are undefeated in this competition so far. 2 wins out of 2. Could this perhaps be the first blemish in his record?
Potentially, but you can see on the right-hand side of your screen there, Bayern Munich's deployment of their players and of their team strength, or their collective strength. You can see that they have used it to very good use there. And you'll see a man coming off the bench in Tell, who has been prominent for a lot of eFootballers who utilise Bayern Munich. For those of you who are not aware at home, Tell, one of these kind of cards that once you power him up is incredibly important, an incredibly powerful player to have at your disposal.
That he is. I remember him being a prevalent character in the eFootball Open finals. Of course, we haven't even noted yet, no Coach Lutti this match day, unfortunate for Bayern. So now we're seeing almost Matchday step into the role.
It's good to see, though. It's good to see that that support, or that link-up through Bayern as a whole, is still there. I briefly had spoken to Lutti pre-match day, and he said that there was a lot of time that had gone into video analysis. So, again, they will have picked apart a lot of game film, which, as these match days go on, more of these players have got at their disposal. The more match days you'll see being live streamed here, the more video you've got on your opponents coming up. So it's always good to take a look at what your opponent likes to do, what players they like to employ, what type of tactics do they look at. It's always good to have that assessment there.
Of course, no doubt Lutti watching at home. We wish you well, my friend. On the flip side of that, as we take a look at the live league table as things stand, great to see Mucha hit back for Bayern this match day as well. Ronaldo, Abraham, good turn, and that's a strike from distance. You know he's capable, Irma, of pulling those ones out.
He's ambitious, I'll give him that. Certainly from that type of distance, it would have to be something special to beat the goalkeeper.
Jose runs that one out of play. You can see just over 20 in-game minutes to go. Has settled down slightly since the one back from AS Roma. Just waiting for a little bit of class here, aren't we, Wes? Just waiting for that spark in the final 15 minutes.
Yeah, it's got very tense here, and as we said, Matchday 2, and no doubt you'll probably agree with this point, being offline, you can very much feel the tension. It's not necessarily something you would find if you're playing online. You feel it in the room, and you can feel that, as we said already, with the viewing gallery up above us, you can also hear them being invested in the gameplay that we're seeing. So there's audible moans and groans whenever there's an opportunity that might be on. Because all of these players, as much as they are friends potentially off field, they will all be thinking about how these results impact their clubs and where they are in the tournament and where they are within this league structure.
Time for changes has come. Seen a couple of subs being brought into the fray by Roma of AS Roma. Jose and Matchday still chatting about what they want to do on the Bayern side.
70, like 80, one more pause and 2 DMF.
I heard a brief snippet of that conversation. Not sure if you caught it, which it's saying you could even go 2 DMF if you wanted to.
Yeah. And that's the choices that these guys have. They have these choices, and it's whether they pick the right one at the right time. It sounds almost kind of a commentary saying this Choupo-Moting looks to go in on goal here.
Yeah, it's a good 1-2 following the throw in, and he will win a corner for his efforts. Will Jose. The outswinger towards that 6-yard box. Unsuccessful this time. Ball won back by Roma, approaching the final 10 in-game minutes.
Just clearing the ball away at Bayern, but as we said before, as long as that ball stays within the confines of the field, the clock will tick down regardless of where it is. They're just trying to drain this clock.
We need to see something from Roma here soon. Headed past through to Abraham, unsuccessful, and every single time it seems like he's trying to open a door, it's slammed shut in his face by Jose. Now there's a chance. Dybala, Abraham to Belotti was the intention. All of a sudden it's gone very quiet here as we approach the 90th minute. Tantalisingly close between these two players. Abraham is through! Equaliser! It was patient, but it was perfect from Roma. You just sensed it here in the studio and everyone fell silent. That something was coming.
It certainly was, and it wasn't just greeted with celebrations over on the Roma kind of PlayStation. It was certainly greeted with that up in the viewing gallery as well. Again, brilliant through ball, but again, we talk about having the patience, having the wherewithal, and having the ability is the most important part of it, to find the right pass at the right time, find the finish. And although there's no real celebration from him, he certainly knows that he has got potentially a hold of a vital point here.
Well, of course, has to be very alert following the restart, but when you think about it, still a couple of minutes left on the clock here. Can't imagine there'll be too much in the way of stoppage time, considering how often the ball has stayed in play here in the second half.
The problem you've got here, though, is Bayern have made all their substitutions to defensively seal the victory. And now they've got to try and break that cycle and do something with the squad they have on their field to go and get another goal here.
It's a very good spot indeed. Let's just cool down now as the kickoff for what is left of the second half here of game one. It's now underway. The number is 3. Is there a final twist in the tale of game one? Surely not Roma. There's a chance here as that's a wayward touch and a big mistake! How costly that could have been!
Game's not finished though.
Game
Ball's
has
gone out,
not
no one's
finished.
whistled.
There is still a throw-in to come. It is a Roma throw in the very last moments of this game. This could be smash and grab stuff here. Matic, what can he conjure up here? Volpalto, who's there? Abraham, under control, and it's wide. It was unlikely.
That's a very good point. Just being 2 down and showing the powers of recovery there. That's very, very good showing for Roma.
Well, his undefeated record continues in this competition. 2 wins and a draw now for Roma of AS Roma. A very closely contested match indeed. Game one, though, honours even between these 2 fantastic players. It lived up to the billing. We were building it up that, you know, these 2 probably best placed to go up against each other. A 2-2 draw is what we come out with.
Yeah, and that was it. It just kind of went with what we, I wouldn't say predicted, because we can never really predict how these matches are going to go. But it certainly was that tale of the tape that we said about how even these players were and how even these squads were. Even with the squad, I would say, disadvantage for Roma in terms of going up against Bayern Munich and in terms of the players they have at their disposal, Roma still found a way. So, again, should be taking confidence from that. It's a very big performance, and again, as we said, to be 2 goals down, to be frustrated with the way the game was going, as we saw visibly, you know, slamming of the table and gesturing and not being in his element, still managed to find a way.
He still found a way to maintain that undefeated record. Not bad at all. Flipping the side of the stage, though, over to Jose, you'd feel he's a little disappointed by that. Of course, still undefeated himself with 1 win, 2 draws to his name. Difficult when you were leading for a large portion of that game to have let 2 points slip. Do you think that's a fair assessment?
I think so. I think, and again, if you look at, again, the aspirations of these 2 teams, Bayern Munich, are, as we said, trying to recover from what was a disappointing match day 2, and that's a chance missed there. If you're 2 goals up, that is a chance missed if you then go on to draw the game 2-2.
Well, of course, we waste no time here on the stage after a dramatic end to game 1. We're now already, well, almost ready for game 2. The players are in the chair and preparing to go at it. We have AS Roma's Stifler going up against Mujahid. Of course, wasn't able to be selected for Matchday 2. Great to see him back in the squad here on Matchday 3. It's a difficult one to diagnose, if you will, when you look at these 2 players. We know Mujahid has been credited for his fantastic defensive performances in seasons previous, has gotten the call up to Bayern this season. Now's the chance to really put your staple on the competition, really put your name out there as, you know, I'm not just a defensive mastermind, a wonder kid, if you will. I can also get it done on the attacking side of things. An opportunity for him to do that here.
Absolutely. I mean, you know, it's all well and good to be known as a defensive-minded player. It's not a knock at Mujahid as a player. It's just that is what we are used to. We're used to a structurally sound squad when it's put out there. But, you know, from what I have seen in previous tournaments, what I've seen going forward is that there is some attacking threat there as well. So if he can get that balance correct and get it right, I think, Bayern Munich have got a little bit of a diamond on their hands.
That they do. It is München here starting off early as well. Good tackle, though, by Stifler of AS Roma. He'll be looking to try and turn his fortunes around. We don't talk about Matchday 2 for Stifler. you came up against a very angry as Maccabiel, and yeah, you conceded 6 goals. But Matchday 3, new day today.
It's a new dawn, certainly. And whether he can find his abilities, Rui Patricio makes a save. It'll be interesting to see, again, all those question marks we had about other players and other teams. We'll now find out a little bit more about Stifler, about whether he's recovered from that drubbing, as it were, lack of a better term.
Well, it was. Which hit started sprightly here. Koeman has peeled away on that far side, won himself a corner as well. De Ligt was the idea with the knock-on. Chance for Stifler and Roma to show what they're made of. Wijnaldum to Pellegrini. De Ligt for company. It's Matthijs De Ligt who's been very important in that Bayern back line. Serge Gnabry. Again. You can tell München here just happy to take his time when the ball is at the feet of Serge Gnabry, knows he's a threat. And most importantly, knows the other player knows that he's a threat as well, so has that extra bit of time to handle. Another threat is Abraham, who can maybe cross one in. Still alive here for Roma is Dybala. Strikes it against a defender. Good little spell here for Stifler. Wants to try and maintain this for another chance as well. Dybala's pass is, in truth, poor as we approach the 25-minute mark here in game number 2.
Yeah, and if you're Roma and if you're Stifler, you'll be buoyed by the fact that you are starting to make some inroads on this Bayern Munich defence. But of course, you've got to be careful of the threat coming back the other way.
Here is that threat. Koeman, mid-double touch, took that strike on. They are just such a difficult in-game team to come up against Bayern because they have such options to go with. One of them is Mane, and no one's challenging him here for the ball. That's a long ball looking for Koeman. Down to Gnabry! Header to header! Half an hour gone as well. That was beautiful.
It was brilliant balling from João Cancelo. Again, we talk about finding those passes and finding those additional ones when they're on. It's all well and good making a pass when you think it might be there. It's a different one when you absolutely know it's there. And you can see the minute that ball goes in, he knows that Gnabry's at the back post there and knows that he's there to put that ball away. Because again, it would have been very easy to just hit, shoot and try it with the first header. Instead, you go for that percentage play and you find it across the box. Brilliant piece of football.
Oh, welcome back to eFootball Championship Pro Play. München hit opening the scoring here, and when you actually go back and watch that goal, it was a brilliant build-up, not only because, as you said, he knows the player's going to be there, but it's also the trust and the reading of the game, because mid-flight, that headed pass didn't look like it was on. It looked like it was covered by a defender, but reading the game so well Mujahid opens the scoring here in game 2.
Well, we spoke about what some of the chat were saying earlier in terms about reflexes in relation to goalkeeping. Sometimes with reflexes and attacking, that's a split-second moment and a split-second decision. And again, one button pressed the right way or the wrong way, and it's either a goal or it's actually, goes out for a goal kick. So those are those fine margins we talk about. I know we talk about it so much on commentary. That is the personification of it.
Musiala, side netting. That was a really nice build-up. Somehow, I think it was Coman on that far side, able to win that header. And then Musiala gets the chance back, and Stifler just holding his heart there. He felt that one was a real opportunity for Bayern to double their lead.
Yeah. As I said, having spoken to Roma pre this game, they earmarked this as a game that was very difficult. And as such, it is proving to be so. But they will have opportunities. They just need to take them.
About 10 minutes till half-time, and it's Mujahid on the ascendancy here as Gnabry is saved by the goalkeeper. A decent attempt, but in truth, too close to that goalkeeper. Mujahid looks very well acquainted to his Bayern team. El Shaarawy now. Stifler surprising. Bit of a sleeper shot that was.
He's got to take those strikes early. He knows that physicality and Bayern Munich will win the day if they are given a moment to catch up.
It's a Stifler corner here. Abraham's the target man, as he often is. Wijnaldum with the cross. Here he is again. Wins the header, but can't steer it on target. Disappointment in the end, and you can see that in Stifler's reaction.
Yeah, and he knows that's a chance that's gone a little bit begging there, as you can see. Just knows that it's just not quite where he needs to be. He looks to the heavens.
Five in-game minutes then remain in the first half. Roma fans, where are you? We need you to participate in that poll. That is looking very one-sided. Bayern free kick played short. João Cancelo. Kimmich back to Cancelo here. Musiala's peeled off. Mane. What can he do from this position? Gnabry wins the ball back, but that one will go the other way. And it's in fact an offside call against Bayern, so bit of relief there. What was essentially a pressure cooker situation at the back.
Yeah, be happy to see that ball go away from that box. Will Stifler. He's got to do more with it going forward here, though. I saw a brief stat about the pass percentage. Only 66%. It's got to be better than that.
Can it be better here? Pellegrini has cut the lines, and it will be corner. I want to say number 3 here for Stifler. Late on here in the first half. Dybala to take, and who else but Abraham, the target man. I think this one will see the end of an action-packed first half as Bayern enter the break. 1 goal to the good, a 31st minute Serge Gnabry header separates these two clubs on the stage at the moment.
Yeah, and again, on the balance of play so far, you'd say Bayern just about edging it, just about. But Roma have got their danger. They certainly can get shots off, and if they can get them off in the right opportunities in the right areas, They could really do some damage here.
We kick off the second half of game 2. The points were shared in game 1 after a great Roma fight back. Bayern have looked fairly in control so far, but it was that same story in game 1, so don't count your chickens just yet. Cancelo, Gnabry, lots of time and space. Who can he pick out? It's Musiala, double touch, defended well by Stifler. That's a tackle he needed to make.
Yeah, absolutely. That danger was well involved and well presented there by Bayern and needed to be defensively dealt with. Just get the feeling that Roma it's the slight moments. It's like moments that can get a pass off, they can get the right movement going, be able to damage.
Mane gets control of the ball there, Wes.
Yeah, they'll be able to damage them, but you can see at the moment they're just struggling to even retain the ball.
Yeah, they can't get out. Bayern pressure left and right. Finally, Pellegrini steps in. Now, what can be made of this attack? Abraham, who's unfortunately lost his footing there, and had that attack continued, I feel Stifler would have been, well, essentially down a man. We're on the hour mark now.
Attendance for this match was 71,550.
You'd have to think that Stifler and Roma would have to develop something soon.
Sadio Mane. Kingsley Coman. Chance for a Roma attack now. There's a runner in the middle, covered off though by Mujahid, but man on the near side is Dybala. Oh, that's wonderful defending. That's a great read from Mujahid. It'll come right back at him though as Abraham to El Shaarawy. An amazing equaliser. He sees the extra pass. No panic, no problem. 1-1.
It's a polite ripple of applause at the commentary desk. Again, we talk about moments and we talk about having presence of mind, as the exact phrase I was looking for there. And it is. There's one big chance where it's a brilliant defensive read from Mujahid, goes back the other way. Instead, he finds the recycled pass there. It's a brilliant little dink in, but the animation was there for Abraham to pull the trigger and shoot, but he knows that that's going to take him too far into Sommer's grasp. So instead, manages to get the pass across, and it is tapped home. And Stifler has an equaliser.
Wow, it's a similar story we saw in game 1, isn't it? Large majority of the game, Bayern had a lead. Roma are tenacious.
Substitution on the field. Number 42.
Changes have been made.
Coming on
All of a sudden, it feels like it's all to play for here. Because Mujahid was chasing for that second. He's going to have to continue to do so. Cross to Coman! The equaliser lasted about 30 seconds.
It's a brilliant ball into the back post. And again, you know, we spoke about it, as you said, at the top of the game. Mujahid known for his defensive play, and everyone kind of has him kind of pigeonholed as this defensive mind. And actually, the reality of it is, he's actually able to pull off this brilliant ball. He's probably seen that Coman move and peel off so many times. If they're all the repetitions, all the practice they'll see, they'll know where these players are going to end up. And as a result, beautiful ball in. Coman heads it home. Bayern have their lead again.
You feel for Stifler because he worked so hard for that equaliser. And all of a sudden that fire has been extinguished almost immediately. I said all to play for. Now Stifler's got much of the same work to do. 4th goal on the season. for Mujahid, who, by the way, wasn't even playing on match day 2, so that is a very respectable tally as well.
Absolutely.
What will mean the most to him, though, is contributing 3 points to this Bayern München campaign. Tell on the near side, you highlighted him as a player to watch. Beats the first man, almost beats the second, but instead plays to Koeman. Can he play it across? Is anyone there? Gnabry almost pouncing on that one. Break for Roma, perhaps. El Shaarawy, Dybala, Abraham breaks the lines, gets the strike off. That manual keeping, though, there early.
I don't think Stifler realised that he had that much time. I think Stifler thought he was offside and he took that shot in anger. If you look at how much room he had when he played that pass, he just took it first time. I don't think he realised he had that much room.
Only he will know. Time for more changes now as we're heading towards the business end of this game.
A me ha fatto l'assist al gol, però che aspetta presto. È bravo, maybe da poi l'ho fatto l'assist, no? Io ho fatto infatti tiro della diga, boost. Ma davanti si recuperava in 2 minuti. Arrivava così. You're just going to like this. It's not progressive. Just think about the one stamina.
Yeah, I cannot change it.
No?
Yeah, not even so, it's great. Not even so.
Yeah, I know, but maybe it's over. No, per loro.
No, if I change this,
Great listening to this.
You prefer, I mean, 26. Dico su te
So interestingly there, I don't know whether you picked up from Luke here, where he's saying, I can't make that change, I can't make that change. Because he knows that it will take him over collective strength.
Kingsley Coman coming on the field.
So fine are the margins that these players have to play with. At this level, that corner looked dangerous.
Substitution.
You heard the Bayern side talking about stamina, and well, that's not their concern right now. Right now it's this attack, and well, long ball looking for Choupo-Moting will actually come back towards him. 10 in-game minutes to hang on if you're Bayern. To get an equaliser if you're Roma. Abraham will give this one chase.
Yeah, but as we said, the longer that ball stays in play, the more time it's going to tick down and just takes the game away that little bit more from Stifler.
Oh, that's an unforced error in Stifler. His frustration evident. Roma attack here though. Belotti can't receive the ball from Abraham. 90th minute, rapidly approaching here. It's going to be last chance saloon for Stifler and Roma
2 added minutes has been in
to
the
get
game.
something from this. Patricio boots the ball. Belotti cannot find Volpalto. Maybe time for one more. Has to go forward here, not quick enough, and that is a huge 3 points for the man missing from match day 2. He returns with a victory. Commiserations to Stifler. A tough opponent to go up against, but Mujahid gets the business done. 3 valuable points for Bayern München here.
It's another 3 points for Mujahid as well, to go with his 3 points for match day number 1. Now brings his tally to 6 for the season. And again, it's important in the confines of this matchup. Again, you are at least walking away with 4 points now out of that match day. Now, dependent on your aspirations, it's dependent on whether you see that as a good thing or a bad thing. If you're looking to just finish top 6, 4 points will do you just fine. If you've got aspirations of finishing top 2, so that you end up with that, well, that lack of a game to play to get yourself into the semi-finals of the knockout stages, 4 points ain't going to get it done. So you're going to have to now look at maybe that final game and look to see whether that final game will give it, or will give us, a definitive answer of where the lion's share of these points will go. Will it go to Bayern Munich? Will they take 7 with them? Or will they end up sharing it all?
Well, just as we look over some of the replays there of game number 2, congratulations, of course, to Mujahid, who, as you've said, 6 points out of the 6 available to him thus far in the competition. So settling into FC Bayern München really well. Hate to turn the magnifying glass over to the other side as we see for Roma, Giallorossi settling down. No doubt he will be accompanied by Matchday on the Bayern side. Stifler, Matchday 1, looks such good value for his 2-1 win over Dominator, who we've seen since be on an absolute flyer. Matchday 2 goes against him. Another disappointment here on Matchday 3. It's tough to say, and I know people at home, and no doubt the players here, might feel a little bit at times like we're picking on players, but it's only because we expect the best from them. It's the same type of energy we brought to Osterbuch at the start of the show. We're his biggest critics, but also his biggest fans, because we know what they're capable of here.
Yeah, and the thing is, if you look on from the Roma side of things, if you look at Stifler's first 3 games this season, you've got in Dominator, Özmakabil, and then Mujahid.
True.
They're 3 very tough games to go against.
Very tough indeed.
But, as you know, I don't think you'll spot any players here that aren't worth their merit of being here.
That's absolutely right. We start off game number 3 with an offside as we get to introduce our 2 main men for their clubs to see out match number 3 of match day number 3. It's Giallorossi in for AS Roma, and it is Bayern München's Matchday entering the fray. Interesting about both of these men thus far in the season. I mean, 2 match days gone, this being, of course, match day number 3. Only 1 goal secured by each of these players, who, again, we know, top caliber players, but haven't been able to perform thus far in the first 2 match days.
Yeah, and I think Matchday, if you're looking at the 2 players in isolation, I think Matchday will be the one that's probably the most disappointed. Went up against his old teammate on Matchday 2 in Alex Alcacer for Barcelona. Didn't come away and really show his level there, and he'll certainly want to answer back with some performance here.
Chance for Mane to start off that performance with aplomb. Giallorossi, though, had a 1-1 draw last match day. And he faced off against Cams of AS Monaco. Certainly tended to neutralise each other in that particular matchup. He'll be hoping he can neutralise the threat of Matchday here, who's giving chase with Cancelo on that far side. Koeman's waiting here as well and wins the header to open proceedings here. The tenacity from Matchday wins him that goal.
It's 1 error down that left-hand side. We saw the full power gauge go up, but it's an error. You can clear that ball out just by hitting square or X, depending on your console. You can just clear the ball out. You don't need to charge up a chance or a pass or anything like that. You just clear it. Instead, gives the ball away. And again, Kingsley Coman was alive and got across Mancini at the near post. Finds the back of the net.
Well, that's what these Bayern players, the virtual players, can provide you. Koeman's intelligence there to see Smalling try and cover the back post, runs across him. Excellent faith exhibited by Matchday, who doubles his tally on the season. We'll be hoping for many more in match days to come.
Just trying to find their feet, I think, Bayern. I think they're just trying to find their feet in relation to the team and trying to find, as they've said before, there's a difference between playing online and playing offline.
can Gagliardo do from this position? Dybala has so much time. A stunning strike, had plenty of power from that man. But Dybala cannot find the back of the net. Would have been some goal. Nothing comes from the resulting corner. Sane thought about giving chase, but we'll let that one go for a corner. Rui Patricio's come a long way. We'll punch that one into touch. Always difficult for a player like Gagliardo, who we're so accustomed to seeing him when he has his best success in games, striking first. It's not often we've seen Gagliardo be able to dig deep from a position of deficit. So we're hoping we can see that exhibited by him today.
Yeah, it's not a regular recurrence that we see that ability be exhibited. As we see Koeman to Mane. It's very rare that we see it. We saw a little bit of it in Matchday 2 against Cams. He went a goal down, came back and equalised. But I think he's very much a player, as we said earlier on, players that play on emotion. He plays better when he's fired up. But he needs that kind of, he needs something positive to go in his way before he then kind of kicks on a bit more.
Well, in the opening 25, it has been mostly one-way traffic, bar that Paulo Dybala stunning strike attempt. Matchday looks to be well oiled here today. Sane's waiting. There's an absolute traffic jam of players in that box there to try and navigate that ball through.
Trying to get through the sea of humanity that had appeared there in that penalty box, but alas, it is still only 1-0 for Bayern.
But they come again here. So many players waiting, queuing up to try and get involved in that attack.
You can see the intelligence of Bayern's play as well. Just a footnote on Mestre. He's not going up to challenge for headers. Instead, he's essentially allowing those headers to be going against him and then reading the ricochets.
Well, that's very nice indeed. Koeman on an amazing run. Good astute observation there, though, Wes. He's happy to let the ball play, allow Gagliardo to make the mistakes.
Yeah, if you watch this ball go up, when it goes up to the likes of Abraham, when it goes up to Abraham, most especially, he will back off. But there's a mistake there, and it's a lunge, and that could have been an advantage, but the ref pulled it back.
Wow, what's the referee seen? Gagliardo not happy. Paulo Dybala with a quick free kick. It's only a booking for Upamecano.
Yeah, the ref could very much have let that one run, and Abraham could have been in there on opportunity, and that's what you saw the animation from Roma's station. They knew that there was an opportunity there to be had, and instead we're only left with a free kick, and this is a low table, so if results stay as they are, that's what you'll see. Bayern will go second in the league, 3 points behind Arsenal.
Yeah, started the day 6th as well, didn't they? So a big turnaround if it stays this way from the Bavarians. We're not accustomed to seeing them so far down the table. Of course, perennial challengers for the last few seasons in this competition. So far, so good, though, here in game number 3 between Mestre and Gagliardo. And, well, Mestre's hungry for that second.
He's going to need it, though, because looking at the way that Gagliardo is coming forward here, he's certainly got some danger on the sticks, but we'll go to half-time as 1-0.
Al 70% possibile. Cosa sta facendo? Cosa sta facendo? Sta facendo qualcosa? Solo possesso? Possesso? Ti senti?
Second half ready to get underway. We heard some interesting conversations between the two sets of players. They know how finely poised this game number 3 still is. I love that we get to listen in on some of the conversations. It's not often in esports you do get a look into exactly what players at the highest level are discussing. A lot of it is behind closed doors, so I don't speak Italian and I don't speak Spanish, but I still absolutely love it. Here's the Spaniard Mestre coming forward. Leroy Sané, what can he conjure up here? Was maybe expecting some manual goalkeeping from Giallorossi, but he held strong.
He had to hold strong there. It's a little bit of a virtual game of chicken, as in who blinks first. And in that regard, it was Bayern pulling the trigger before there was any type of save that could have been done. And just a point on that in relation to talking and hearing the feedback from the players. The post-match interviews, I could spend an hour talking to these guys, picking brains as to what they see and how they feel that their games have gone. And I'm sure that some of them would happily sit there for an hour and give us that feedback.
Absolutely. It's the beauty of being back in the studio. We get to chat to these players in the training rooms and get their thoughts, their feelings. The feeling right now of Giallorossi is that of frustration with how the rub of the green is not really coming through him just yet so far. Here in game 3, chance though, Abraham back heel to Al Sharawi. Oh, that was a difficult shot to take. I just wonder here if there was a touch by the goalkeeper. Oh, not sure. Don't think so.
It's a bit of a shot on reflex as well, though. A little bit too much power into it, but you could see the idea of where it was meant to be going. It was meant to be nestling into that top right-hand corner. Instead, goes over the bar. No goalkeeper touch, as you may have thought. And instead, it goes out for a goal kick.
Leroy Sané. He's beaten his man time and time again here. Pulls it back. Musiala is tackled. Vladimir Matic, the man, to save Roma on that particular occasion. Musiala sees the Koeman run here. Inside again, double touch, has just been shepherded out of play, and Mestre, a wry smile from him there. He knows there was physical contact, but the referee unlikely to give those.
Però ho subito gol da uno che non mi ha spazzato, forse lo devo spazzare su. No, dove diciamo? No, non spazzare, ma se lo spazzare su. Ma che dopo Mancini che sbatte tutti, testa a testa. Sai come questa volta è con lascia stare, sbatti là di sopra. E arrivano lo stadio. Lascia il compagnia. Anche tu prima Pellegrini qua. Raga, vorresti dircela mandare buona perché tiro all'ultimo, però mi piace. Io non so mi piace, si sente bene, bravo. Tira un po', si tranquillo.
Continue, he's not doing anything.
L'unica cosa che mi va per poi mi parla.
Attenzione, un cambio.
Just picking up some of the speech there, it was Mujahid just saying more of the same, continue, should be fine.
Acrobatic clearance sends that one into touch, and you're right, Mujahid saying just hold strong. Keep doing what you're doing and potentially a second goal will come. He's had plenty of success, Mestre. With the likes of Sané, especially on this near side. That's good pressure though from Giallorossi. Here is Mane. Sané, who I just mentioned. Koeman, has he stayed onside? I think so. but has let the ball run a little bit too far.
Ran out of real estate there just to get that, keep that ball in play. Still, we've got 20 in-game minutes left, puts a little bit of change, whatever the referee decides to add on.
Cancelo looking for Mane. It's been another one of those games between these two clubs that has just settled down, but that's an unforced error by Giallorossi, and Sane can maybe capitalise. In the end, a little bit lacklustre. It's been a tight affair, very, I hate to use the word, but very cagey. Just anticipating perhaps one last twist in the final 15 minutes, whichever way it may go.
You can see there, though, line share of possession going to Bayern Munich. The longer that they're keeping that ball, the less damage that Roma can do to them. So just listen in again.
Cioè, Abram è solo davanti alla porta e non dà... da dare o dai rosso o dal
Yeah, maybe like Ibrahimovic finger. Maybe with double touch, double pass. Just maybe. It's a
I would love to see it from Giallorossi, Stifler and Irma. I think that tells me that no matter what happens in this next 15, he's going to go for it. He's going to leave it all out there on the virtual pitch and up there on the stage.
Well, you don't get these games back, as you've said already. And it's a pretty difficult tie at the best of times against these guys, but coming off the back of a disappointing match day 2, Bayern are a little bit of kind of wounded animal here. So they were looking to just try and close it out, get themselves maybe 7 points on the deck, and hopefully see themselves into a pretty decent position within the eFootball Championship Pro table.
Yeah, we got a quick glimpse of it earlier, but it looked like they were in a very, very nice position indeed. But Giallorossi could still play spoiler here. No time for celebrations just yet for 72% of you. Make sure you keep interacting in the chat as Mane comes forward. Sane was hoping for a better ball. Plenty of space to run into. Final moments now. Tell tries to turn inside. Mancini and the Roma defence combine. Into stoppage time now. Is there an equaliser? The final touch just missing, and well, Sane's able to head that one back over the halfway line, and another win for Bayern München. Matchday sees that one home with a slender goal line of 1-0. Giallorossi really left it all out there, but unfortunately, in the end, Matchday was just too strong.
It wasn't pretty, but it got the job done. And that's the most important thing for Bayern, is that they got the job done. They got it across the line. They picked themselves up 7 points from a possible 9.
Yeah, it's not too bad at all. We saw the only goal of game number 3 very early on. It was Kingsley Coman, of course, a man who has been very, very useful on that switch of play for Bayern München. 7 points they take away from match 3 here on match day 3. Gagliardo just never really had clear-cut chances that he would have hoped for Semra, and in the end it does see Mestre come home with an extra 3 points to Bayern's name in this one. 7 points out of 9, they'll be very, very happy with that one.
Table, the Bavarians. So definitely a great day in the office for them, and undefeated as well today with those 2 wins and a draw. We can start by talking about game 1, which was a really interesting draw in the end between the 2 captains, a clash of the captains and a comeback from behind for Roma. But then in the second game, with Mujahid showing why he was so sorely missed in Matchday 2, because he remains undefeated in this competitions as well. 2 wins so far and counting, but in game 3, obviously, Hugh saw it. He said it wasn't necessarily the prettiest game of eFootball, but sometimes it doesn't have to be as long as it's effective, and that's exactly what it was. And I tell you another thing, Harry, we've seen so many quick goals today, straight out of the gate. So many within the first 10 in-game minutes. It's quite a surprise, isn't it?
It is, and I feel maybe for those at home who are watching expecting goals galore, it can be really difficult to see that opener in the opening 10, especially in game number 3, as we just saw, to then see very little chances throughout the rest of the game. But the thing you have to remember is that these players throughout the entire 90 virtual in-game minutes have to be on the very top of their game. Concentration levels have to be absolutely paramount. They have to be maintaining that focus for that entire time. We can't just fall asleep and you know, expect the other team to just be like, oh, you've scored 1, okay, that's fine, take the 3 points, because the other team's going to come back at you. So it can be very easy to forget that as a viewer, and especially for us as commentators, but it's very important to remember it.
It is very important indeed. Well, listen, Wes is now in the mix zone once more. We can catch up with the winning side in this previous match between AS Roma and Bayern Munich and hear what they have to say.
Thank you very much, Samara. I'm here with Jose of FC Bayern. First off, congratulations. Really good performance. It was effective. It wasn't necessarily the prettiest performance, but are you happy to come away with 7 points on match day 3?
Well, it was really difficult because Roma is grinding a lot. He were training a lot of hours. They knew us, so yeah, we need to be effective to beat Roma because they are really good players. They have an also good team, especially in attack. So we are happy with the 7 points. I mean, it's possible the 9 points because the last chance with Roma and all the stuff, but we are happy with 7 points. It's a good match day for us. We need to recover after the last match day against Barcelona. I thought it was really unfair for us because we did well, but that's the game. So now we are in a better position, so let's go.
Sometimes it's not about the performance, it's about the result. So although you might feel as though you have performed better, sometimes it's just getting it across the line. And of course, match day 4, you're up against what we're going to see pretty much in that next match game is Inter Milan. So thoughts on them as a team?
Yeah, for sure. When you Inter Milan, because Matador and Mermer are former players from Schalke. They were really good games against Schalke in the last edition. So now, with the addition of Matador now to Internazionale instead of Christopher, I think they have a really good roster now. With Arda is a new young talent. We expect a lot of him from now and in advance. So I think it can be a really good match day. I think it will be equal, so we need to train, keep training, and we are happy with my teammates. I need to congratulate them because the 6 points are also for us from them, so I'm happy with my teammates.
Yeah, and of course, I mean, you're talking about performances and you're talking about historical players. It's with this Inter Milan team, there's a little bit of kind of almost youth and experience. You've got to kind of think, how are we going to try and tackle this? Of course, yourself, Mestre and Mujahid all will have played some of these guys already, both nationally and internationally. So have you got a little bit of a read on what you're expecting from them already going into match?
Well, from international, I think it's really difficult because the last edition they weren't playing. So now they need to be in shape again, you know, with the competition, because it's not the same training at home that playing on the stage. The feeling is different, the pressure, you have a good team before than you, so it's difficult also for them, but I think they are training a lot and they are going to fight for the top seats for sure, because I think they are really good players, and the experience for me is really important in this kind of tournaments.
Fantastic. Well, it's great to hear from you again. Congratulations once again. I'm sure we'll see you again ahead of Matchday 4. Guys, back to you guys.